Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, Jay Villain, aka thatvillainjay, also known as the Mardu Clan Elder. That's who I'm repping. And with me, as always, the numbest of skulls.
Hey guys.
Who is surprisingly pulling. He is currently, I believe, he's the Sultai. You're going to be a Sultai Lord this time.
I'm going Mardu with you, man.
Really? Okay. Well, your top 10 picks would suggest otherwise.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't endorse blue too hard.
You can't endorse blue too hard. Okay, so he's Clan Mardu as well. But he's got a side hustle with Sultai.
We have a symbiotic
relationship. So we are here, guys. It is finally here. Aether Drift is over, and it is time. The reign of dragons will now begin. We are returning to Tarkir, one of my personal favorite planes that I used to love. I love the Tarkir set. I love the aesthetics. I love everything about it. I had such a good time with it back in the day, back when I was playing paper. I'm excited. The hype is here. I think a lot of other people are hype. If you're hyped for Tarkir Dragonstorm, we're right there with you. So let us know what your hype level is. I'm like at a 9. This is like my second most anticipated of the year.
Okay.
Final Fantasy being like a 10, I'm stoked for this one.
Okay.
Where are you at, Numbest of Skulls?
I'm at maybe like an 8. Well, sorry, you can't give rookie scores. I'm like an 8.4. 8.4. Yeah.
So just a little behind me.
Just a little bit, yeah. Thought we could have had a couple more like good black cards, but it's fine. You know, they're still good. I felt like, I mean, I think they do this a lot. Like today was the last day of spoilers, and they didn't really save anything good for the last day.
No.
They kind of just like dumped a bunch of commons and uncommons on us and said, okay, that's everything.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, save something like crazy on for the last day. I don't know. So, but that's just delivery. It doesn't make the set bad.
No.
You know, but it would be, so that would have been cool. But also, one thing I was looking for was cheaper dragons. A dragon that costs less than 4 mana.
Yes. And we got those.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they're on our list. I don't want to spoil anything too soon.
Less than 4?
Less than 4.
Did I miss something? Or are you saying exactly 4?
There's one that costs 3.
A 3 mana dragon.
Yeah. Unless I'm crazy, unless I don't know how to read anymore. That could be the case.
The one of yours is 4.
Yeah, there's a 3-drop dragon on our list.
Mine is 4. Oh, that one is 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're actually very correct.
There we go.
But I wanted a red one. Sorry.
No spoilers. We're not going to spoil our list yet. So
that's all I'll give you. But I wanted a red one. Just saying.
Yeah, we do have ways to get dragons out. We got a lot of other things, but surprisingly, you know what I'm going to say about Dragonstorm? Not as many dragons coming out as I thought there would be.
True.
There really is a focus on the legendary dragons kind of being big boy commanders and doing a lot of big things for the clan. But I don't think they absolutely fire hosed us with dragons. They were quite restrained on them.
Yeah, and I think some of the craziest dragons, unfortunately, were commander cards.
Yeah.
There were so many, and like it happens every set. Where you're like, oh man, I wish that was a standard legal card, and you see the commander symbol. But a lot of these, I'm like, dude. I mean, some of them just flat out couldn't be in standard. They would have probably got banned.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really good commander cards in this set, which is fine. I get it. Like, if it's gonna be this hype and people are gonna be into it and buy into it as much as we think they are, you might as well bolster your commander product, which is we've been told is the bread and butter of this game at this point. So. Fine.
I am probably
but,
tempted by a commander box. I will probably get either the Mardu. I'll probably get the Mardu commander box. I'm not going to lie.
I have a buddy of mine, one of my longtime subscribers on Twitch, he saw like a bundle on Amazon for like 200 for all the commander decks. He just bought the whole bundle.
Wow.
So he has, and I don't think he already has them, but
So
but yeah,
all
he's
five
getting
for 200.
yeah, $40 per. And most of them have cards like individually like that are worth $20-$30 here and there.
Yeah, I'm saying you're breaking your money. You're breaking even on that.
Yeah, so they more than pay for themselves, and especially once demand is up, which it probably will be, and once people realize which one is the best one, that one's going to go up to like $60 and be sold out. People are going to be scalping it, and some of them might go down to like 35 maybe, but they'll probably all hover right around 40, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely an investment. It's a decent investment to get involved in. It is. It's a nice way to jump in. I have a couple commander decks I play casually. You know, I definitely wouldn't mind, and I have no problem ripping the commander decks apart and just shoving the cards into standard, buying another one, and putting a 2 of in there. So.
But yeah. So we do see a lot of good. We think this could be set of the year. I see some creators are saying that already. This could be really up there. I'm excited. The
other thing that I'm hearing is what a lot of people are saying. This feels like a return to form for Magic.
I like that.
It doesn't feel like it's a gimmick set. It's just fantasy, dragons, warriors, a classic setting, a fantasy. There's no universes beyond. Unfortunately, some people were like, it feels like a swan song to Magic before we leave
before the universes beyond
floods us game. And we start going in weird directions the rest of the year, because we are doing 3 universes beyond and one more that is a space opera, which I think is going to all be off-putting to some people who like castles and knights. So this is going to be this is going to be a watershed set for a lot of people. I think it's going to be great, and these cards are going to be with us for a while. I like the fact that we're cementing TARKIR in the standard mindset and in the formula, dragons being useful. We have this kind of stabilizing set for ourselves.
Stabilizing is good. We're getting like this like baseline power level almost. It feels like we almost wanted foundations to be that, but I feel like TARKIR is like a really good baseline for like what we should want and expect in a lot of sets. But maybe that's just us liking it, so just saying we always want it, but I think it's good. I'm excited. But Jay and I are both thankful to be able to do early access for you guys.
Oh yeah, we're going to be in early access next Wednesday, April 2nd.
Yeah, so that's going to be really fun. There should be some council content for that as well. And speaking of our council, we are also thankful for our patrons.
Absolutely.
We've got 26 of you guys still rolling with us. So I think that actually between Jay and I and our other guests who have been on the show, that actually brings our council to over 30 people, which is pretty cool.
Yep. Official council members.
Official council members, exclusive access to our patrons only Discord, or if you've ever been a guest on the show, you are also in the council by association. So we have them, and we have our paid patrons here. We thank you every episode. So I'm going to go through, give you a shout out. And just as a reminder, our patrons, you can join for as little as $1 a month, or $1 an episode, or any amount higher than that if you're gracious enough to do more. You get exclusive access to our patrons only Discord, our members only Discord, so to speak. You do get bonus content as well. And you're going to see our deck lists for new sets before anybody else does.
Yes. We are theory crafting already, and we're posting them in the...
Theory crafting, and I think Jay saw me post at least, 3 decks in there this week, so I've been cooking. I've been in the frickin' meth lab, dude.
I'll tell you what, Numbskull has been, I'll look at my phone, and, at the end of the day, and he sent me a deck.
Boom.
I'll get off
deck
work.
Pick.
There's, another deck. And one day there was like 2 of them. He's like, here's version 1, here's version 2. I can't decide.
Yeah.
He has been in the lab on this one. He's feeling it.
I'm excited, man. And yeah, so I'm very excited, and I'm very excited to be able to kind of have this like close-knit group that we have with our council members who they get excited with us for the new decks, and they have their own ideas, and we have some cookers in there too.
Absolutely.
We have some chefs in this group. But without further ado, I'm going to read you guys the list here. We've got Bad Optics, Neptune, Mez Undead, VG, Zyron, Jason Flood, Just the One, Larry Mitchell, Jay Langford, Metal Mechanic, Notorious D, Deadfast, Argent Icon, W. Taylor, Elvan Breams, Xylo Beast, Jamel Langford III, Trexadactyl, Lord Gypticus, the Flipticus, Mamulian, Cassius, Nickel Nuts, Ulfear, Dante Valentine, Savrit, and of course Clever Sound. Savrit and Clever Sound have been with us for a long time. They're some of our OGs. We appreciate you guys.
We appreciate it.
What are we like coming up on like I think we're actually over 2.5 years now.
We're coming up on our,
so that's pretty crazy.
I think in August is our 3-year anniversary.
It'll be August. Yeah, 3 years then. How about that?
3 years of the council. Yeah, we're also going to be coming up to our 100,000 view celebration.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Which is pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah, I definitely like that.
That's just on the council. I just passed 4 million on the channel.
I was gonna say Jay's got millions on his actual like the rest of the channel. I
just did 4 mil like last week, which was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Let me see, lifetime.
Did they send you a little thing for that? They send you that little YouTube button plaque or whatever?
No, they don't send you a plaque. They just give you click notification, so they just give you like a little bump.
Nah,
which is nice.
Well, I know you get one for like 100,000 subscribers.
100,000
like
subscribers. You get 100,000. You get a plaque for 100,000 subscribers. I'm closing in on 20,000, so maybe I'll eventually get that.
Working towards it.
I think the only channel with 1 million subs that does Magic is Prof, and I don't think I'll ever be his size because I don't do Commander. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I get it. But nonetheless, we're very thankful for the patrons and, of course, the people who watch on YouTube all the time.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not a patron, we are happy that you keep watching this and that you keep the lights on. Jay and I have a very expensive studio where we record this.
It's quite. They've been keep raising the price.
Yeah, the rent keeps going up. So we're very thankful for you guys. The last video was good, and we're looking to continue the excitement and kind of ride this hype wave with you guys. So we're going to do... Each of us are going to give you our 5 best cards.
Yeah.
Like we normally do. You guys kind of know the deal each set. We have some honorable mentions, and then we have our card 0, if you will.
Our card 0.
Where Jay and I agree. This was a little harder for us to agree. We had
a hard time agreeing. I'm going to try to sell him. I'm going to try to sell him harder on it like I did for Annex.
I kind of just let Jay cook here because the last time I doubted him, like the card, it was like the best card in the set.
Yeah.
So I'm letting Jay cook. And I shouldn't say best card in the set, but it was one of
Arguably,
it was easily one of the best.
It's one of the best black cards out there right now.
For black cards, definitely.
You did twist my arm on old Stabby Man, the vampire, which I liked a lot, but I didn't think was tier 0.
Vein Ripper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was really good at the time until more stuff came out, you know. But yeah, Vein Ripper was cool. But yeah, so Jay and I are going to try to hit once again for our top level cards. Usually we have like 1 or 2 in each of these videos from, you know, one of us or both of us that are actually correct and really are one of the best cards in the set.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go through our top 5 here, see if we have some more hits, and yeah.
And we want to know your opinion too, so talk with us on this. What do you think? What do you like? What do you not like? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Let us know what you're excited for, and let us know what clan you're in.
Yes, we need clan clarifications.
We want to know. Yeah.
I'm Clan Mardu, as you may have heard.
Same here. I'm going for it.
So, do you want to start, or do you want me to kick it off there?
Sure.
Numbskull?
Yeah. I'll go first. Jay's like, whenever we were talking about this card, Jay was like, I don't care about that card.
We have very varying opinions on this set.
Depending what format you play, you have to care about it. And this is why I think it's going to be good, because it's going to be. It might not be the craziest thing in standard, but in other formats, this card will be insane.
So what is your number 5 coming up here?
Yeah, we've got number 5. This is Ugin, Eye of the Storms. Ugin is back in standard. Actually, isn't there an Ugin in standard right now? But it's like not good, or no, there's not. Okay. So this is, Ugin's back in standard. Ugin, Eye of the Storms. 7 mana, colorless, all of it. You know how Ugin is. When you cast him, you exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Now, this guy's a planeswalker, and he's got like 2 static abilities without activation. Well, I guess they're triggered, but still. 2 triggered abilities on a planeswalker that are not activated. It's pretty crazy. So he also has a +2. His +2 is you gain 3 life and draw a card. His 0 ability is just adding 3 colorless mana. His -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. Okay, keyword to that ultimate ability is that you're casting the cards. The reason that this card is so good, and you may not see the use for it in standard, although there are some crazy artifacts you could cast with this. Tron in modern, this just lets you play all of your creatures and just win, basically. You play all your Eldrazi creatures and just win the game.
Yeah, I've heard that this is an Eldrazi nightmare.
Yeah,
so people were joking.
That's where it comes from.
People were joking. In Elder Dragon, Ugin is the best Eldrazi as a dragon.
Pretty much, yeah. And some of the Tron decks already play Ugin, a different Ugin, and they're pretty easily like. I think a Tron deck can get to 7 mana on like turn 3. So, think about that. Think about a turn 3 Ugin. You just scoop. You know,
and also you could do
and
that.
All their spells are colorless that they're casting too. So every time they cast something, they're taking away one of your permanents.
You could also do the Innkeeper's Talent trick where he comes out with 14 counters on him.
Like double. Yeah. Then you can.
You can.
Then as soon as he comes out, you just cast your whole deck. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that is, if you're not set up for that, you're cooked.
And then you're talking about ramping. Well, that card's green, and obviously green is the ramp color. So, boom, there you are. You know, so I think there's an argument that there actually is a place for this card in standard, which is gross. But yeah, so because of that, because of you might even be able to play him in standard, and because of what he will do for the Tron deck, I cannot leave him out of my top 5.
Yes,
I have played against the Tron deck, and I have lost to it many times. It's not fun to play against. You have to worry about so many different things, and this is just one other thing to worry about that can lead to you having to worry about all the other things. So it's just, he's ridiculous.
I was there 4,000 years ago when the original Ugin Ghostfire was in decks, and he's just always a problem. I was not happy to see him back. Like you said, like, you know, the way you say, I don't care about that card. I'll never play this card, but I'm sure as hell going to have to be aware of it. Someone's
going to make you worry about it. Yeah.
Because he's going to be a reanimator target.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he's always a problem.
He's going to make you lose sleep at some point.
Yeah. Ugin is always an issue. Yeah. So you got to be aware of the Oogs.
Absolutely.
Will say, as a lore point, little disappointed we didn't get a Nicol Bolas. I guess they're not ready to breach his.
Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I don't know.
He's Grixis, so he didn't even remember his name. Story moment right here. He didn't remember his name until Jay said it. He didn't even really know what was going on. He's kind of
senile,
really kind of suppressed in the meditation realm. So I mean, I get why lore reasons, but I know he's kind of back in the mix. I hope they don't make him a bad guy again. I hope that they kind of do something different with him, because it's getting recycling the villains is getting old. But I hope we do get to see him again though.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, Ugin, that's your number 5. I'm gonna go in right on my number 5, and this is a good place to start because it also just talks about a whole bunch of different other cards related to this one.
Okay.
My number 5 is going to be Windcrag Siege. Okay.
All right.
Windcrag Siege, and this is part of a set. There's 5 sieges. Okay. The reason is that you get to choose when this comes out. Do you want to do Mardu or Jeskai? So it's a Boros card, 1 red, 1 white, and 1. It's a 3-drop. It's an enchantment. You choose your clan allegiance, Mardu or Jeskai. Okay. If you choose Mardu, meaning that you're choosing black with it, essentially, if an attacking creature causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. Nuts. Anytime that they let you do something twice, and I've said this rule multiple times with Magic, if you ever see anything letting you do something twice in Magic, it's broken. If you see the word double, if you see the word twice, if you choose additional time, you are dealing with a busted effing card. You are just going to be nuts. So not only does this support, and you say, and this is kind of the reason that I chose it, not only are you supporting the mobilize mechanic of the Mardu clan, which is whenever they attack, if they have mobilize, you get to mobilize. You get to add 1/1 soldiers that are tapped and attacking and then get sacrificed. Not only will that go off twice, we have so many other cards outside of mobilize that are going to benefit from this. We have Arabelle. Decks that are going to trigger twice. You could run Mardu if you want to run Mardu in this. You could run the Valley Rock Caller that gains and drains twice off of it. You could run you could run Adam Pakal that runs twice off of it. You get double triggers on Adam Pakal. We have so many attack triggers.
There are a lot, yeah.
You know, I don't even know if this even does this work for Raid.
How about Snake? How about the Snake, dude?
Exactly, the Snake.
That's actually crazy to think about.
The Sacrifice Snake. We have so many different abilities that this Mardu Siege for laying it down is going to be nuts for. I think it's insanely powerful. And not only that, the Jeskai ain't half bad either. At the beginning of your upkeep, you create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens with lifelink and haste until the end of turn. I mean, if you're going for token spam, that's pretty good. So no matter what you do with Windcrag Siege, by the way, this is not legendary. If you get 2 Windcrag Sieges down and choose Mardu twice, you get 3 times the triggers.
Yes, sir.
What are we talking about here? That's insane. That's insane that you get triple the amount. You would get triple attack triggers. I don't know if it works with Raid, because it says if causing a permanent causes a triggered ability of a permanent. I think Raid is a triggered ability, so anything with Raid, it would cost Alesha to go off twice. It would cost Sear Scar Goblin, Sear Slice Goblin go off twice. It's just really good. And like I said, it's built for the mobilize mechanic, but there are so many other cards all over standard, all over any format really, that have death triggers. Having them go off twice is amazing. Hell, you take a look at something like Fear of Missing Out. Get 3 attacks. Get 3.
Get your extra combat steps.
Get your extra combat steps. Just so many applications for this. The world is your oyster with Windcrag Siege.
I think it's great. Also, another one where you're talking about Arabelle, there's Delny.
Delny, there you go.
Delny is gonna trigger it another time, so you have yet another card. Now that guy is legendary, but you have it in creature form and you have it in enchantment form now. So you can really do some crazy stuff. And if you go wide enough with Arabelle and you have like a Delny and a Windcrag or 2 Windcrags out, you could kill someone just by attacking, and they would be dead like before damage.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty fun. That's got to be one of those like arena achievements, right? Like attack and kill someone before damage or something. That's got to be an achievement.
Kill someone just by attacking and not colliding. It's no Windcrag Siege, and I have to say, you can look at any of the sieges; they're all really good. Hollowmurk Siege is decent. Baron Step I feel is too expensive. It's a 4-drop. Hollowmurk is only a 2. but all the sieges are decent. Windcrag just happens to be specifically busted.
Yeah. Yeah, you combo this guy with, and I don't think either of us chose him, but I'll just shout him out real quick here. Avenger of the Fallen, the Mobilize X guy, where X is the amount of creatures that you control. So if you have 5 creatures and you attack with 5, you mobilize 5 again. So you have 15 creatures.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna sack 10 if you have what do you call it? If you have a Vengeful Blood Witch out,
they're gonna lose 10 life.
That's losing 10 life. Or if you have Vengeful Blood Witch and the Starscape Cleric, which is like kind of a nice little combo, that's an instant kill on the end
that's
step.
20.
So
that's if they don't die from getting hit by 15 creatures.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. And then the only thing about Arabelle with the Mobilize is I think Arabelle is on the attack itself.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, by putting the creatures out that are tapped and attacking, they didn't actually attack. They are attacking, but they didn't attack.
Even so, if you're gonna go...
don't.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
they don't trigger her.
They don't trigger her.
I was just gonna say they don't. Yeah,
they don't trigger her, but go for the Jess guy. Go for the Jess guy
because they get haste.
Because they get haste, so they're swinging in with her. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's another beautiful. Like you were talking about how it's non-legendary. You could just choose both. So you choose Mardu the first one and Jeskai in the next one, and you guarantee every turn you get an extra goblin, and you get the extra trigger. You gain extra life. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a big fan of the sieges. You got to keep an eye on them because there's one of the main, like I said, the criteria. There's so many applications outside of just the Tarkir environment that they could be applied to. So
yeah. Heard that. So I think Jay, I did include in my Mardu Aristocrats deck, I did include a copy of this. Jay is making me wish I included a couple more because I think this is I had 2 War Leaders Call in there, and I think this might be better than War Leaders Call.
It's a nice compliment to War Leaders. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think this actually might be better, and depending what I want my creatures to do, for them to properly trigger with Delny, I actually might not want the War Leader's Call with the Anthem effect. I might want to keep everything 2 or less. So I actually might just play an extra couple copies of this instead of the War Leaders. So definitely something to consider. I think it's really, really strong. And we both have 2 strong, very strong top 5s here. Or just number 5s, I should say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to my number 4.
Let's go to your number 4.
This guy's cool. And we're going to... we're going to quit farting around. We're going to give you guys a dragon.
There we go.
So, I've got Teval, Arbiter of Virtue. He is the Sultai dragon. Maybe this is why Jay was saying. He's like, numbskull with all the blue cards.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty good. So, 6/6 flying lifelink for 5. Remember back in the day when that was just an outrageous card, and it would, like, if a creature had those stats for that cost, it was probably $40.
Just in and of itself, yeah. It's
just those keywords, just the power and toughness and the cost. That was enough for this to be a crazy mythic. And now he's a crazy mythic, but I'm going to get to his ability now. So you pay the 5 mana, you pay the Sultai colors and 2 colorless. Spells you cast have Delve. So here is your Sultai graveyard stuff. Here's your kind of payoff then, if you will. You're going to like that he has lifelink because of the next thing that I'm about to read. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. So it's a little bit of a drawback, but at the same time, you can gain 6 life every turn with this guy by attacking. So I think it's going to be okay. I think he offsets the life that you lose anyway. And a lot of the graveyard decks, you're casting like cheaper spells. Like I see him as maybe a 1 or 2 of in these like Insidious Roots decks. And then when you're delving, you're triggering roots each time, And I also, much like Ugin, with delve spells, I see this guy being played in other formats. What is it? treasure cruise, dig through time cards like that.
Yeah.
That let you delve to cast the stuff. So that's an interesting thing. But yeah, I think with roots in standard, I think this guy is good. And I think he's a pretty strong representer for Sultai for the Dragon Clan.
Absolutely, and I feel like he is, despite him being a hair close to Simic, the blue in there, like you said, is not that bad. Like honestly, you could run a Golgari deck. The fact that you can just dredge for free, or I mean not dredge, delve. I also really like him if we're talking about usefulness, improving a support set from Aether Drift. Talking about Dredger's Insight with this guy, whenever one or more artifacts or creature cards leave your graveyard, you gain 1 life.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah,
so
there you go.
You're talking about the delve ability. If you eat up 3 cards from your graveyard, you gain 3 life, and maybe you'll lose 3 life for casting a big spell. You can kind of offset it, like you can gain life by eating cards from the delve and then offsetting the sacrifice that you're going to have to pay for that.
I like that. Is that the green enchantment?
That's the green enchant. It's a green 2-drop, and it really it mills. It mills 4 cards too, so it really sets you up well. So
we have good self mill. I think right now
we have serious self mill. Yeah. Yeah, so
I'm a big fan of Tevel. I wanted to include one of the like clan dragons because like Jay was saying, they kind of all they're all there, and like maybe some of them aren't quite as strong as we wanted, but like I think at least 1 or 2 of them are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I had to bring in the guy here.
Unfortunately, speaking of Tevel, I like Tevel Commander much better. Because you mill cards, and anytime cards come out of your graveyard, you create zombies, and I wish we would have got him, man.
The Abzan guy, I liked the commander version of him a lot better too.
Yeah, I feel like the commanders were eating really good.
Yeah, the commanders were going crazy.
The commander dragon, the commander versions were just eating up.
Yeah.
So, but I like him. I'm probably gonna put him in a Golgari Dredge. I feel like the blue mana is not going to be that big of an obstacle. I
think with roots they tap for any color.
They tap for any color. Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. It's just not necessary. You put caverns in there, or you put something else in there. You just put a couple of blue generators. It's not like it's 2 blue. It's 1 blue mana to get them out. You're gonna be fine. You'll be fine.
Or just play a couple of those new triomes.
Exactly. Throw 2 triomes in there. Throw or a couple double lands. You're gonna be okay. So definitely. I think that Delve is one of those abilities that has existed for a while and is just abusable in certain ways. So yeah, something to watch out for.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to have it in standard too. I feel like we haven't delved in standard.
Ooh.
You know?
We haven't really delved into it.
Haven't delved into it very much, no. But yeah, so that's my number 4.
All right. Well, speaking of the Sultai clan, which are the undead types of guys in this, my number 4 is a flat upgrade to some previous. He's also a vampire, which I can't leave behind. I gots to rep what I am. Vampires forever. Karsi Revenant. Revenant.
That's cool.
Karsi Revenant, I did not expect it. I know we've had some previous Karsi stuff before from the Sultai clan, which is, Golgari is black, blue, and green. Kind of Golgari coded, kind of Dimir coded, so there's always a lot of undead types of things in it. But I didn't expect such a good vampire to pop up. So this is a 3-drop, 2 black and 1 vampire, 3/3, flying, death touch, and lifelink. On its face, it is simply a strict upgrade over Vampire Nighthawk, which I am still playing right now in standard in vampire decks. I just put him in.
Oh, that's crazy.
Angels
okay.
Deck. He's good enough for any kind of gain and drain decks. He's good enough to go in there, so he's immediately getting replaced because this guy is a 3/3. Not only that, we have the renew ability, which is you exile him from your graveyard and you put a flying counter, death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature, which is ludicrous. Giving somebody flying death touch and lifelink on your turn suddenly is insane for 3. Those are counters. Those are not until the end of turn.
Yeah.
They just have them. So making a giant creature, making something like hell, you could even put it on if you want to do a vampire deck, put it on the Exquisite Bloodlord. What's that guy's name?
Bloodthirsty Conqueror?
Put him on Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Yeah, you know, just knock him out. Well, he already has flying and lifelink. So, where's he have flying and...
As flying and death touch, I think.
Flying and death touch. Giving him lifelink, you know, but put him on anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's really insane at how good this. Put it on Snake Veto. Snake Veto obviously will get that.
Snake Veto, yeah. So then he has the built-in life gain, and he's evasive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that would be cool, actually.
In a dredge deck, where you want things out of your graveyard, where you want to play things out of your graveyard, we already
Dredge and Roots.
We already have vampire support. He's just so good. I mean, you could put him in a Flyers. You could put him in a freaking Angel deck, and he would work. You know, you could put him in anything. You could put him in a Golgari Stompy. I mean, can you imagine a Phyrexian Obliterator with this? Like, there's so many opportunities here for shenanigans.
There's all kinds of stuff you can do. The self-mill, you know, he's not a bad card to discard with all the discarding standard right now, like the Pixie decks.
Exactly.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll discard this guy, and then I'll make something have like every keyword in the book soon. You know, so yeah, I think the renewability is awesome. Another comment I have is the art on this I think is great. The art with like the face on top, but then like the teeth coming out, it kind of reminds me of like some of the Demon Slayer demons.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. So I do like that.
He's very
that illusion, if you will.
He's very kind of southeastern. Well, you know, the whole Sultai have this kind of swampy, kind of southeastern Asia
That's
vibe
true.
to them. So he kind of looks a little bit Oni, a little bit Eastern Spirit, very influenced. That like the spire that this guy is flying around is, you know, looks like almost like a Angkor Wat type of, you know, interesting type of structure. So the vibes, listen, the vibes and the art of Tarkir are just immaculate.
Really good.
They take that kind of East Asian, especially kind of from like Mongolia to China to again South Asian, which we don't really see that much. You know, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia. We see a lot of these things and this kind of representation, which is, I just love that kind of aesthetic, that pan style, because you know, we have the Japanese set Kamigawa. This is kind of the other pan Asian set. So really like it.
That's a good way to put it. And I guess we're coming from an area that's like maybe known for dragons, if you will. Like there's
and
you know,
even Tevil kind of looks very worm, like he's like a long snaky dragon for the Sultai. So he looks almost like he could be happy sliding around in the water or being more of like an Asian.
He's in the water too. Yeah, he's like flying over water in the photo with like
looks very serpenty, you know.
Yeah, he is kind of a serpent, but like just a serpent who flies, basically. Yeah, I like that.
So cool stuff.
So great art in the set. Some of the alt arts that I've seen have just been awesome. So I am very excited. I think that's going to drive some of the prices too. And this is one of the first ones, Jay, where I'm like, man, I kind of want to buy like a collector booster box.
Ooh.
I haven't wanted to do that. I probably can't afford it, but haven't wanted to do that in a long time. So I'll have to see what's going on. But I mean, yeah, this is people are going to be buying sealed product of this set. I think.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So everybody's gonna be going for that Mox Jasper, which is not in our top 10. So
no,
I didn't spoil anything,
I feel like it's too obvious.
Yeah, it is obvious, and it actually might not be good. Like it's like kind of it's actually only a thing if you play dragons. So if you don't play dragons, it actually might not be good.
Yeah. And also, do you really need us to tell you that Mox is a good card? It's got the word Mox in it. Come on.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, but if we're incentivized to play dragons, I'm also down for that. You know. So All right.
All right, what's your next one?
So we've got what, number 3
number
now.
3
We're
already.
going to 3. Okay. So this is where another one that'll help prove Jay right that maybe I was trying to be in Team Sultai here.
It absolutely. Your Team Sultai, bro.
But he agrees this card's good.
Yes.
So this is Naga Fleshcrafter. 3 colorless and a blue. It is a snake shape shifter. So the first line, or the first part of text here, is kind of just reads how your typical copy creature is. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Cool. We've seen those dime a dozen. We've seen multiple sets have copies of those throughout the years in Standard. But much like Jay's number 4 card, this guy has the renewability as well,
which is the Sultai
2
ability.
colorless. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a Sultai ability. So it's 2 colorless and 1 blue. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I think the renew is sorcery speed only, which is fine. But yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. We were talking about make everybody a Vein Ripper, make everybody a Rotten Mouth Viper, make everybody just all kinds of stuff, dude. Make everybody. Yeah, what's his make everybody Terror of the Peaks.
Make everyone on the board a Terror of the Peaks.
Or I don't even know what else, but just all kinds of stuff. Make everybody a freaking Bloodletter of Aquazats, because that's non-legendary. How about that?
Yeah.
You have like 4 creatures out, you swing with all of them.
Only one of them needs to touch because it's times 8.
No, times 8 is 3, so this would be times 16.
Yeah.
So it'd be 32 damage if one of them connects. So it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. I don't love playing blue, but it's like one of the only blue cards in a long time that like made me think about playing blue.
And
not gonna lie.
On that note, we talked about how blue being so represented in Sultai and Jeskai this time, and a little bit in Temur, have such a different feeling that it's not bounce card, draw card, counterspell. This kind of rut that blue has been in of just BS. We're actually getting some tricky, cool stuff in this. There's actually some decent blue cards that are like, oh, I'd want to play that. It does a novel thing that is powerful and interesting, that builds board state or relies on creatures, or is in support of other things other than just, I want you to have nothing and I want the game to stall. I feel like blue, they've kind of knocked blue out, and I've been asking for them to do this for a while. Let's get blue out of that total control zone that it's been stuck in, because control is fine, whatever. You want to play control, listen, technically remove them as control, I get it.
Yeah.
But blue being this one note, draw card, stop person is been annoying. So I like that we're going in a different direction with this guy.
It kind of gets back to when, what was it? What's it like called? Like Blue and Kaldheim was pretty cool.
Blue and Kaldheim was decent. Yeah.
I know that they had, foretell counter spells and all that, but it was kind of, it had more of a identity back then, which I think is what we're getting back to now. Or maybe an identity that I dislike less. Let's put it that way. But yeah, this guy's good, and I think he's ushering in a new kind of thing for blue, which I think is it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
So
duplication glitch.
Yeah.
All right, so I will go on to my number 3, and we got to hit him with it, guys. It is a dragon. We are dragging this on. I hate to make this whole video drag on.
There it is.
So, this card is a joke, and I mean that literally and figuratively. It's literally a pun. It's a joke on Magic. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It is called Stormscale Scion. Stormscale Scion. Mark Rosewater, the lead designer of Magic the Gathering, has a thing called Stormscale. How likely a mechanic is to return to Magic. It's called the Storm Scale because Storm was the number 10 that was it'll never come back. It's a 10. It's the most unlikely to ever return to Magic.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So he used to do it. There was Evergreen, which was like flying, trample, first strike, lifelink.
Yeah.
Those are evergreen mechanics. On number 10, he eventually added an 11 that said it's permanently banned from the game. We can never put it back in. Was Storm, which was such a broken ability they had to ban up a whole bunch of them because it absolutely got freaking busted. So this is literally a joke on Mark Rosewater about Storm Scale being the scion of the Storm Scale. And also, it is in Tarkir Dragonstorm, and it is a dragon Storm Scale. There's a million puns in here, is all I'm saying.
I see what you're saying now.
This is a dragon. This is a 6-drop dragon, and you're saying, Jay, that's expensive, Jay. A 6-drop, it might as well be a 1,000,000 drop in current day, in current Magic. The game has, I've already finished 2 games by the time turn, you can drop a 3-drop, a 6-drop. 2 red and 4.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's a flying, other dragons you control get +1/+1. It is a 4/4. Here's what's busted about this guy. Whenever you cast this spell, copy it for each other spell cast before this turn. Copies become tokens. This dragon has Storm and duplicates for each other thing that you cast before it.
And he's a lord. Yep. It's beautiful.
Not only is he good on his own, and you're saying, well, Jay, that means I would have to use 7 mana, Jay. I would have to cast the spell and then I would get 2 copies of him. That's 7 mana. That's a lot. You're forgetting about plot. You're forgetting about free cards that we can possibly play. You're forgetting about all cards of stuff. You have to copy this spell. You cannot reanimate him. You literally have to cast him to get
You have to cast, yeah.
We also have a lovely card coming out called Dragogenesis that lets you play dragons for free.
Free dragons.
Dragogenesis costs 8. What you can do is you can do Abuelo's Awakening on Dragogenesis and get them out for nothing. And that way, that every single dragon in your hand can be played for free onto the board. Let's say you do that. Let's say you play 4 dragons and then Stormscale Scion. Guess how many Stormscale Scions you're going to get? 5. You're going to get 5 Stormscale Scions on the board because you played you cast all of those cards.
You can also play your Mox Jasper on that turn as well because it's free.
Because it's free. Another one. Play your Mox Jasper, do a Stormscale Scion. So this card is busted, especially when you combine it with something like Terror of the Peaks, where every time that a creature card comes in, it does that much damage. It does 4 damage. However, when the second one pops in, all the dragons will be +1/+1, so it'll be 5 and 5. You get 3 of them in, it's 15. It's 6, 6, and 6. It's 18 damage. So you eventually figure out how to storm this off twice. So you get 3 copies going in immediately. With Terror of the Peaks on the board, it's 18 damage downrange.
Well, because you're going to go Abuelo, Mox, and then
however many dragons you have in your hand,
and X amount of dragons. Insert dragon number here. So yeah, I think you're gonna go Abuelo. Let's just say you only had Terror of the Peaks in this guy, though. Yeah, so you go Abuelo, Mox. That's 2, and then you do Terror of the Peaks. So that's 3. This guy is 4. So the first one hits, right, and then that's 4. The next one hits, that's 5. And then the next one hits, and that's 6. And then the next one hits, and that's 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 plus 3. That's 22 damage.
Yeah. Which,
there you go.
If they're at flat life, is a win. You may or may not know that.
Yeah. Maybe not in Commander, but Standard, which you can do all of this in Standard that we just talked about.
It is.
Another cool thing, Bitter Reunion. You can use Bitter Reunion to put your Dracogenesis in the graveyard because you discard cards with it, and then you can pay 1 mana to give all your creatures haste. When you play your Mox Jasper after your Dracogenesis is out, then you start playing all your dragons, and then you tap the Mox Jasper for 1 mana because now you have dragons, and that boom, they're also all hitting and doing damage, but they're also all hitting, doing damage, and having haste as well.
Ridiculous.
So there you go.
Absurd.
There's your crazy combo.
Absurd.
I have a deck for that.
Jay
has a deck for that.
Yep.
Come check it out in early access. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be... I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be one of those chat clip that.
Yeah, no, it's
gonna be one of those moments. Like I'm getting ready for it.
It's literally the namesake of the set. It's a DRAGONSTORM.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna storm them things.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be storming.
All right.
What is your number 2?
We're cruising, dude. Yeah. Number 2 for me, Clarion Conqueror. This is the 3-mana dragon that Jay told me is in the set that I didn't know it was in the set, but is also my number 2.
He forgore. It's not 2. It's not 3.
I was so like taken aback by its ability that I just didn't even look at what kind of creature it
naturally assumed this was like a 5-drop.
Well, I knew it was 3 mana. I just thought it was something else that wasn't a dragon.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I knew it was 3 mana. I never realized it was a dragon until I scrolled through all my list. So, Clarion Conqueror, 2 colorless, 1 white. This is like the sideboard card of the century, in my opinion. 3/3 flyer for the 3 mana. Non-legendary. It is a dragon. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. So that hits you too, so you gotta be mindful of what you're playing and, maybe what you're sideboarding out, this and that. But Agatha's Cauldron, nope. Planeswalkers of any kind, nope. The exhaust decks, not anymore. Just there's so much stuff that this just shuts down. And I think what's really important about it is that it stops it forces your opponent to worry about dealing with that card. But if you're playing a dragon deck, it's like, oh, you had to kill that one to be able to play Magic. But now I have my Stormsail Scion, my Terror of the Peaks, my whatever. You had to waste your removal on that because otherwise you were like locked out of the game.
Exactly. It's
a
full stall card. This is you either deal with it or you stop playing. Even we had the isn't Mount and Drive
and Saddling,
aren't those activated abilities of artifacts? You have to pay for them.
Yeah, you're right. Artifacts and creatures. Saddling, yep.
Saddling and piloting. So, even those artifact decks that they do Reflector Net and they do.
Those are so annoying.
Yeah, even those artifact decks that require a lot of activated abilities and stuff like that.
And the ones that tap for mana, you can't even tap.
You can't even tap for mana. This turns off treasure, by the way,
because you have to tap it.
You have to tap it. You have to tap treasure. You have to tap blood. You have to tap.
That's so funny.
You have to tap clue tokens. It's crazy. If you're relying on that and you don't have an answer, you're just gonna lose. It's a card. Might as well say lose a turn.
It's time walk. Yeah, this is a real way to make friends in a friendly commander game.
Oh yeah, people love this, especially guys like I'm running my artifact planeswalker deck, and you're like, yeah, bet you are. Bet you are. You're running it real good. Yeah,
and you turn 2 demonic tutor. Actually, I'm sorry, turn 1 demonic tutor, turn 2 cast this.
Yeah.
Unreal, man. So yeah, I think this card's ridiculous. And I mean, you could main deck it if you want, because if your deck doesn't what do you call it? If your deck doesn't have activated abilities of any of the above, you can just put it in the deck and boom, you got a flyer, you got a cheaper dragon.
It's a 3/3 flyer for 3. It's a dragon. It's going to synchronize with any dragon deck. Yeah, I mean, it ramps for your mocks on turn 3.
Mana
abilities of creatures, even if they're running freaking Llanowar Elves, you're like,
yep, none of it, dude.
So I mean, it's just good, man. I know I remember everyone was mad at it because it got premiered in Japanese and the name was ridiculous because it was translated. It was like somebody had translated it from the kanji and it was like shout screaming King Dragon, and people were like, that's a dumb name. And they're like, everyone, that's not the real name. It's just the Google Translate version of the kanji. It's not.
Remember, what was it? a cool the unrepentant, but when they translated from Japanese, it was crispy crab a cool.
Oh yeah, crispy crab a cool. Yeah, that's the one.
That was one of the best ones ever.
Yeah. Also, Vein Ripper was also translated as Bloodline Ripper. Because a bloodline in a vein, obviously, it's like a similar word.
It's the same thing, and it directly translates. When you use translators, that's where you get like the...
Yeah, you need to know like the context and the specifics of the language.
Yeah. Both seem cool, but Vein Ripper, I think, is just more to the point.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
We're going to rip
But yeah,
veins.
So Clarion Conqueror, main deck it, sideboard it. If you're playing white, this is probably going in your deck.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're not playing Planeswalkers.
Yeah, no, if you're going heavy on creatures, this is like a return to form on creature decks, in my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah. I think one of my honorable mentions would align with that as well, that we'll get to in a little bit here.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for my number 2 here.
Yes, please.
Guys, you know I like the undead. I love undead. I think they're great. I love zombies. And we have been consistently getting zombie support, which I'm ever so thankful for, because when Innistrad went away, I was worried we'd never see it again, but we're back. Zombies are so back. We are taking a look at the Sib-Sig ceremony. The Sib-Sig ceremony. I know that's very alliterative.
Sib-Sig.
Sib-Sig.
I had to tell Jay to say it like 5 times because I was like trying to type spell it just from hearing it.
Delightfully sliding off Numbskull's brain for some reason. I don't know why. He just couldn't hold on to it. He was like, "Sir."
I was just like typing. I just typed S and was just like made him keep repeating it after.
This is a soul tie, and this is a zombie guy right here. This is a legendary enchantment, 3 black. It is all black. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less, 2 basic mana less, which is pretty crazy, okay? Because that means that any artifacts that are 2 or less just come out for free. Here's the funny thing, though, guys. Whenever you cast a creature whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature, then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token.
Pretty awesome.
So you can just put out, load the board with zombies. Zombie druids. You could just be casting free artifact creatures like crazy. And just zombie, and they all go into the graveyard and they all die. Because it gets destroyed. It gets destroyed immediately. So if you set yourself up here, you put, like we were talking about, the Vengeful Blood Witch, put that down on 2, put Sib-Sig Ceremony down on 3, and just dump your hand of free creatures that cost nothing because they're all artifacts or something like that, or even just 1 black or something. You're just going to say, die, immediately become a zombie, die, immediately become a zombie, die, immediately become a zombie. And you gain and drain 1 life off of it. Not only that, we have zombie support. We have the ability we have something like the Cursed Cloth Wrappings, which all zombies get +1/+1, and you can cast stuff out of your graveyard with Embalm. So you can replay the things that just died by turning him to a zombie, and then turn the original copy into a zombie. You have things like, we still have Gisa, a 5-drop Gisa, which gives everyone +1/+1 Death Touch and Menace. So that's a finisher for the swarm of zombies you just generated. Do that, put all the zombies down on turn 4, drop her on turn 5, and just swing out. Not only that, you're loading your graveyard with dead creatures. You're asking for it all to be reanimated with a Raise the Past. Because you could just put all cheap creatures. You could all put 1 and 2 drop creatures that immediately die and go to the graveyard. And for this to trigger, they don't trigger if they're coming out of the graveyard. They only trigger if you cast. So you could immediately play 5 creatures for free, then play Raise the Past, and they all come back onto the board. You've built a swarm. You have built an insane swarm off of that. This is nuts. This is crazy for filling up your graveyard, creating zombies, and then, running Reanimate or anything you want. It is crazy powerful to do that. There's so much good Reanimator in black and white right now. It's insane. You could technically play that Clarion for free. You would play him for 1 white mana. The Clarion Conqueror comes out for 1 white mana, immediately dies, becomes a zombie, and then you could play heroes return on him for another white mana. So you could technically get him out for free zombie.
Yeah.
There's the undead opportunities are endless. Invest now. You know,
one thing I was thinking of while you're talking about Gisa, because like obviously if you cast Gisa and this is on the board, the Gisa would die. But I think what you could do, a nice little, and this could also help you if you don't have the right mana for it. You dump your hand, you get all your zombies, and then when you have 4 mana after you play this on 3, 4 mana, you cast Beseech the Mirror.
There you go.
And you actually bargain the Sibsig Ceremony, and then you cast Raise the Past for free.
There you go.
And then the next turn, you can hard cast your Gisa and it won't die, and then it'll give you all the effects.
Yeah.
Or you can go get your the 4 mana zombie thing. You could cast that for free with Beseech. Yeah, or just straight up cast Zombify. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, so you could do a lot of stuff. So I definitely like it. I think that there are ways to break this, and I think that they're just like, I think Wizards kind of like daring you to break this card.
They're saying,
you know what I mean? It's like, hey, Brewers, do something with this. Come on,
go nuts,
you guys,
man. Here's a crazy card.
Yeah, and I think you can go crazy in Commander too. But yeah, I mean, having it in Standard, I think we're gonna do something. We're definitely gonna do something. But yeah, I like it. And you know, once again, Jay being a really good Magic card salesman, I didn't think it was too crazy before we started talking about it, and now I'm kind of really feeling it now.
There's like 3 directions you can take this thing. You could do small creature.
I think that's
storm.
why it's so good.
You could do small creature storm. You could do full reanimator for cheaper. You could do the bargaining thing. You could do enchantments. You could do this for delve or dredge. Like it is such a utility card for a bunch of different directions.
I wonder if it also reduces the impending cost on the overlords.
Yes, it does. Impending goes down because when I've had all your enchantments are cheaper, I've had impending go down. Yeah.
So that's gross. Because now you can do the double white guy. Was it Mist? Is it? No, it's not Mistmore. Whatever the white one is.
Oh yeah, he's the.
Is it Mistmore?
He's the Mistmore. Yeah.
Okay, so you can get him and 2/2/1s for 2 white, and then you can get Balemark is just 1 black mana. The Mistmore is just 2 blue, draw 2, discard 1. Like there's all kinds of stuff that I think is kind of crazy. And then you're also talking about your another direction you could go is just go all in on creatures with crazy ETB effects. So like Atali. You just play this. You play this card and you cast Atali for 5 mana instead of 7.
Yeah, the ETB effect is going to go on the stack.
Yeah, you get it either way, even though you have to sacrifice the creature, which is fine. You could also go death triggers. You could go the death trigger route. So you could do you're right. You could do so much. So I like it. I think it's good. You know, you could also play Naga in a deck like that. Cast the Naga for 2 mana. Make a copy of a zombie, but then renew onto a zombie, and then make it a copy of like whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could, with your reanimation target, you could make all the zombies whatever you want them to be. So there's so almost limitless potential with this card. I think it's good.
All right, Numbskull, it's your time. It's time for the big guy. Right. The number 1 Numbskull pick right here. Before we get to the ace, before we get to our tier 0, we're going to do our after this. We'll do my number 1, and then we'll do the honorable mentions and the number 0 tier 0. Go for it, Numbskull. All right, Who is your king card?
So this is where Jay and I disagreed a little bit, but I ultimately said, all right, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I think this guy's good. So we've got Scavenger Regent. Now I'll read you the creature card, and then I'll read you the adventure after, and then you can understand why the adventure is like pretty awesome. So 3 colorless and a black. You get a 4/4 flyer who is non-legendary. He is a dragon, and he has ward ability. The ward is discard a card. So kind of like your Graveyard Trespasser. That other vampire that had it, I forget what the vampire's name. But then now we have the sorcery, and this is one of the omen sorceries, which you do have cards that are payoffs for casting omens as well, which is maybe something to keep an eye on. So the sorcery adventure omen thing, it is Exude Toxin, which is cool in just by name.
Because he's a black dragon on a pile of skulls and bones.
Yeah, it's just pretty sick. So it's X and black. Each non-dragon creature gets -X until end of turn. The only thing about it is it looks like you do have to shuffle the card into the library. You don't get to keep it as an adventure, unfortunately.
I think they realized that was the problem with adventure, is that immediately having a card accessible directly afterward.
Yeah. So you kind of have to choose, but it's also like if you have that like oh shit moment and you need to get rid of a bunch of stuff, or you need to like clear the path for having like a crazy turn, or if your opponent's going wide and they have like a bunch of 2 and 3 toughness creatures, but all your dragons are 4/4s, this and that, you wipe the board. The idea is, or really any amount, because the dragons aren't going to be affected negatively by this. So I just think it's awesome. He's non-legendary. You can just put a bunch of these guys on the board if you need to. You can cast him for free with the Dracogenesis if you do that. And I mean, realistically, he's meat hook on a stick.
He is, and I didn't really kind of think of that. We like meat hook for different reasons. I like meat hook for the gain and drain. You like meat hook for the killing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gain and drain is just an added bonus.
Yeah, I like killing, but I'm mostly there for that because I like gain and drain because that's my thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Totally understandable.
This is, and Numbskull, again, he sold me on it. This is having 2 cards in your hand. This is 2 cards in your hand. Do you want a sweeper, or do you need a creature? Either way,
just think of it as like modes, if you will.
It's just modal. That's it. Is literally a card with 2 cards on it. Oh, they're out of cards. Also, it goes great in a discard deck, by the way. Because if they don't have the ward, they're screwed. As a 4-drop 4/4 flying with the discard, it's solid creature. If they have no creatures on the board, Exude Toxin would be a shit card. It would be terrible to have if they're running nothing. If they're running, Boros Swarm, or then it's obviously the best thing that you could run. And the dragon is the weak one. So just having, when you draw this, you've got 2 options in your hand: sweep or attack. I also like that we have black dragons. He's just cool.
I was like, dude, I hope we get a good black dragon, because Junji was like the last one.
Junji, my dude Junji.
He might not be as cool as Junji. He's pretty cool though. He's pretty sweet. I think Junji was still one of the coolest dragons. But this guy's pretty good, and the non-legendary part is really cool. You can put 4 of them in your deck if you want and not care, which is relevant. So he's my number 1. I wanted him to be card 0, but Jay and I were able to come to a conclusion that the one we chose for card 0 is at least as good as this guy, in my opinion. So I'm cool with it.
Yes. Okay, so time to go for my number 1. Thank you, Numbskull, for that. My number 1 is going to be a insane card that I just think is... I don't even know how they printed this, man. The more I think about it, the more I start planning with it, the more I realize it's freaking just busted beyond belief.
It's gross. It's gross.
That is going to be the Mardu Siegebreaker. Mardu, that's why I'm playing Mardu. Mardu Siegebreaker. The Mardu Siegebreaker has a uncanny ability here, okay? It is a Mardu color and 1, so it's 4-drop. Black, white, red, and 1. It is a human warrior. It is a 4/4 death touch and haste. Back in the day, a 4-drop 4/4 death touch and haste would already be
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Another one of those.
Then it has the exile when it comes into play ability. That's already ridiculous. We already hate that. What card used to do that? The that white card that exiles people when it comes into play. Exile up to 1 target creature you control. Well, it can't exile your opponents, but you exile something that you control until Mardu Siegebreaker enters. So it blinks it essentially. Whenever it attacks, and mind you guys, it has haste, so it's going to attack immediately unless it gets killed. For each opponent, so if you're playing Commander, this is insane, create a tapped token that's a copy of the exiled creature attacking that opponent. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice those tokens. Are
Pretty
you
sweet.
kidding me? We're talking about Bloodletter before, or any other kind of major thing. Exile a monstrously huge creature. Swing. You get 2 tokens of those creatures come into play. So if it has an ETB effect or an on-death effect, they go off. They swing in with the Mardu Siegebreaker. If Mardu Siegebreaker dies, you get that creature back, so it would be ETB a 3rd time.
We only get 1, right? If you're not playing Commander.
Well, you would only get, no, you get 2.
For each opponent, create a tap token that's a copy of the exiled card.
Oh no, yeah, you only get 1. Yeah. I'm thinking that if the Mardu Cheeseburger gets blocked and dies.
Oh, okay. Or if you have
double the effect of you attacking, the siege.
Yeah. If you have that, if you have whatever copies that ability, but it is an attack trigger. So setting it up with a Windcrag Siege is a thing. Like Jay mentioned that card earlier. So yeah, it's gross. And you sacrifice it. If they want to kill it, that's fine. I just blinked a creature that I probably benefit from blinking, so it's all good.
It's all good. Like we said, what if you did double snakes?
And
so we attack with 2 6/5 snakes that force you to sacrifice or lose 4 life. I mean, not 2, but you immediately sacrifice. It comes into play and then it sacrifices.
It's a copy of the exile card attacking, so you wouldn't get the attack trigger on the snake.
Oh, okay.
But you would get the ETB at least. Yeah.
The other thing,
so that's fine.
The other thing that I think people are missing about this is finally Sunfall revenge. Because if they Sunfall you with Mardu Siegebreaker out, your original card that you exile immediately craps out onto the board.
You're right.
It is
you can just protect your best creature, even if there's no
protect your best guy and be swinging with him. He's just being copied. He's being held by this guy and being used over and over again for attack mode. And then they go, oh, I'm going to Sunfall. I'm going to sweep. Okay, guess what? Enter again, ETB. ETB trigger.
Yeah.
I think that just that alone, just that Sunfall protection is... Because if he leaves the battlefield, it doesn't say when he dies. It says when he leaves the battlefield. So no matter where he goes, he is going to give you back whatever it was. I was even thinking about going real wild and running this in... running it with green. Can you imagine how good this would be if you did this to a Vaultborn Tyrant?
Oh, so gross, dude. Yeah.
You had a 6/6 trample and
you sacrifice the guy and then
if he's a token, he doesn't make another token.
Oh,
but either way,
that's what it is. Yeah.
He would give you 4 life and draw a card.
Yeah.
And then if he died, if Mardu Siegebreaker died, he would come in and give you 4 life and
draw a
card.
You get another one. Yeah, so it is pretty gross.
You would keep gaining life. I mean, anything that you wanted to do, you could just keep repeating it. You could keep duplicating it. That's if you
I just realized this guy isn't legendary.
No, you could have multiple of these.
What the hell's going on with that?
Yeah,
he's the siege breaker. He's got to be legendary.
No, he is. You could have
gross.
5 demons attacking him with this guy. He's ridiculous.
That's gross, man. Yeah. All right, well, I'm sold. Yeah, that's a good number 1 for you.
He has a moderate chance of being so broken that he might get banned. Like, I feel like
I could see it.
I could see some crazy... Listen, I'm not that good of an insane... I already have my best jank master working on it. I see a situation where there is a way that you could duplicate things so badly in different formats that it either goes infinite or something horrible happens and there's some sort of cascade event that completely wrecks the game and causes Arena to crash. I could see that happening. So I'm putting at his potential possible ban in some formats coming up, because anytime you're dealing with duplication, you are playing with fire. You are at the point where you are getting to the point where it's really dangerous to be running that.
Yeah, but I think people are gonna play it for a while and do broken things with it for sure.
All right, so that's my number 1.
Yeah. All right. Let's do some honorable mentions before we get to the
We're going to go through these. This is going to be the quick fire. These are the ones you know that people are going to say, what about that? What about that? And
so we already talked about one.
Yeah.
Dracogenesis. Ridiculous. Cast dragons for free. It's 8 mana, but we're going to reanimate it. It's fine. We're going to do it on turn 4. We're going to try to win on turn 4 with this deck.
Yep.
What else? I've got Magmatic Hellkite. He's a 4 mana 4/5 flying dragon. 2 red and 2 colorless. Basically, his ETB is just Field of Ruin, which is sick. It's
Put
sick.
It that way, yeah. That's
you get a Field of Ruin effect that usually costs. It's a net cost of 2 mana because you go get a basic. So it's 2 mana there, and then you get also a 4/5 flyer, which you could argue could cost 4 mana on his own. So you basically get 6 mana worth of stuff for 4 mana.
Yeah.
It's like a buy one get one half off.
Not only
almost,
that, he's actually more powerful than the. He's actually more powerful because if whatever card that they go find comes in with a stun counter in it, they can't even use the land right away.
That's right. Yeah. It's not a. It's not a. I think it has to. Does it have to come in tapped then?
It comes in
also?
tapped and stunned.
And stunned. So so you're actually shutting off the mana. So, I mean, okay, let's say that's another mana. Let's say that's 7 mana right there. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's value. We also have. Speaking of dragons, I got to give my shout out to Nerev, the Mardu dragon.
He's
he
cool.
looks sick as hell. He looks like a robot for some reason, at least to me. He's got so many like overlapping metal plates on him. If a creature you entered this turn, this is the ultimate aggro card, 4-drop, 4/5. If it entered this turn, it deals double damage. We already talked about if you're doing double damage, you're broken. So you're talking about him on turn 4, dropping haste creatures on turn 5, or generating tokens on turn 5. Everyone is doing double damage. Busted.
I like it. I'm going to give you Tygom, Master Opportunist. Now, this is just like a monk 2 mana guy. But he has this flurry ability. When you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. Exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. The reason this is crazy is because you're copying the spell, and what people are going to do is they're going to have up the beanstalk on the board already, and then they're going to cast their spell, and it'll get copied. And they're going to use the reduced cost spells that still trigger Beanstalk, and you're going to get that trigger twice, basically. This will trigger, from what I understand, this would trigger Beanstalk twice on 1 card. So your Ride's End is going to be copy it, and then I think you get to cast the regular copy, and the one that you cast gets suspend. So you're going to get what you want, and then later on you can cast it again for free. And I don't know if maybe that's when it triggers Beans, but at some point you're going to get double Beanstalk value from this.
If Beans isn't banned on Monday.
Well, that too, yeah. This will come out. This will be out on a Sunday for you guys, so we'll be right before the bans. Now, if Beanstalk gets banned, we're probably not talking about this. I mean, we're talking about this card's use in other formats, maybe, but probably not much in Standard. But yeah, if Beanstalk is not banned, this card could go crazy. Did you have another?
Voice of Victory is also a really good one. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Take that blue.
Don't touch my stuff.
Don't touch my stuff. It gets mobilized too, but just one of those you can't do what you want to do, which is always frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think we're finishing off with United Battlefront, which is worth talking about because that is basically Collected Company.
But white.
Yeah.
And it's in Standard.
So you look at the top 7, put 2 non-creature, non-land permanents onto the battlefield, man 3 or less. By the way, do you know what's a non-land, non-permanent standard? Sheltered by Ghosts.
Yeah, it's so gross. It's so gross.
So
you could just get like 2 shelter. I mean, if you like God tier hit.
Yeah, you could
double sheltered.
You could get a Sheltered by Ghosts and a War Leader's Command immediately onto the board. Yeah.
Just like clear the board real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. So that's a good one to think. So couple of big ones there, a couple of things that we liked. Let's go to the number 1.
Let's do it.
Maybe you figured it out already. Oh, you want me to say it? I'll say it. I'll get real close. I'll ASMR it real nicely. And that is going to be the Rot Curse Rakshasa. The Rot Curse Rakshasa. 1 black and 1. He is a 5/5 for 2. He is a demon. His artwork is dripped out as all hell. He's engulfed in purple fire.
Sick. 4 arms.
4 arms.
I think.
3 eyes. Yeah. Yes, he looks like a Vedic demon of old.
Dude's woke.
No, yeah, my guy is. He is feeling it. He's also, if you notice, he's in a field of black lotuses and skulls.
That's so gas.
This guy is just sick. This is a 2-drop demon, so this curves immediately into Annex if you don't attack with him.
Yep.
The interesting thing about him, he is decayed. We remember we had decayed from the Innistrad way back. This creature can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. And you're saying, Jay, that kind of sucks. But also 5 damage on turn 3 trampling. He also is going to get his death trigger off. You don't have to attack with him. You could just leave him there and let it drain and let it gain and drain off of your Annex. But he also has a lovely renewability, which I'm going to let Numbskull tell you all about this great renewability that he has.
Yeah. So it's going to be X and 2 black for the renew cost. And remember, you only renew as a sorcery. You exile the card from your graveyard. You put a decayed counter on each of X target creatures. Now, why might you want to do that? Well, let's say you want to attack for lethal next turn, but they have too many creatures out. That's fine. Now all of them can't block. Or you want to make it so.
So he literally board cannot block anymore. He
literally turns into exile him from the graveyard, pay mana, win the game.
Yeah,
that's what he turns into. In a lot of instances. Equally, you could, if you wanted to make it where like you have to influence how your opponent is attacking. If they're like a crazy aggro deck and they're just swinging out every turn, balls to the wall. Well, now they can't because they can only attack with those creatures 1 time before they all die.
It's a slow board wipe.
Yeah, it's just it's a rot curse, if you will.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it's just whenever you think about doing it, like you're just like think like when you think about what you're gonna do with this card, you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait for that like mono red guy. He's got his Heartfire hero. He's got his whatever that 2 mana bullshit thing is, and he's got his Screaming Nemesis. He's got all this. He's got all that, and then you go 5 mana. Okay, next turn if you attack with them, they all die.
They all immediately die.
Have fun.
Yeah, they're all decayed.
And it's just so crazy. And I think what you might do is you actually might not put it on the Heartfire hero because you don't want to like give them a free sack outlet.
Yep.
You know, but you put it on everything but, and then that's all they have. And then if you have like Anoint with Affliction, then you just anoint the Heartfire, and that's fine.
And you could also even do it if you're playing Sacrifice on your own board. You could do it to all of your creatures if you know you're going to have an immediate death trigger, like
let them all die.
Let them all die immediately, and that would finish them up too. But yeah, being able to just say no, none of these guys can block anymore. They're all rot cursed. Also, I want to bring out. I know that he goes back. We don't have to use the rot curse right away. We can keep reanimating him. We can bring 2 of these guys back with Dirge of the Dead. Whatever that one's
Lively
called.
Dirge.
Lively Dirge. We could bring 2 of them back to the board with Lively Dirge. We could bring him back so cheaply. He comes back with freaking back with Raise the Past.
Yeah, he's 2 mana.
He's a 2-drop, man.
He's an aristocrat.
He's literally an aristocrat. Like, he is that level. The fact that you can get that much beef on the board and they can't use cut down on it because it's like it's a 5/5, like insane. You
could also do the thing where like the creatures lose all abilities or something, and then boom, now he's just a 5/5, and he's like a wall that can also like attack whenever it wants to, you know.
Yeah, I know that he dies at the end of combat, but if we had an instant fling, he could also swing, attack, and then fling before he could get to the...
Oh, yeah, that's another one. What was the one I was saying we cast on him? It's Desperate Measures, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, Desperate Measures.
So with his sacrifice trigger on the stack after damage is dealt, or actually before damage is dealt, I think is when you want to do it, because then he'll
become a 6/4 trample.
+1, -1 trample, so he does the 6 damage. Even if that means he's going to die in combat, who cares? He's going to die anyway. You get through for your extra damage, and you draw 2 cards for 1 mana. So that's a nice little combo that you can pull too with that guy. 2 mana, 1 mana, deal up to 6 damage, draw 2 cards. Sure, let's do it. That's pretty good value, I think. So there's just so many ways that this guy affects the game, and I think that was why I just eventually conceded to Jay. I was like, yeah, this guy's the fucking truth.
No, he's a monster. He's a serious
He's just that
monster.
good. He's that good, dude. Yeah, non-legendary at that.
Yep, you can have multiple on the board. Black aggro is back.
Let's go, dude. I'm down.
So we are stoked for Tarkir, as you can see. We are excited for it. We want it. We want to get it here. What is your hype level for Tarkir? What are your number 1 picks? What are the cards that you want to know about and that you think that we should be running, or maybe some hidden gems that we missed? That's what we got to know when we come back to it. So let us know. Let us know your opinion. This is the Black Council. This is the Council. We have everything. It's kind of funny that for a dragon deck, our number 1 pick was a Black Demon, but what do you expect?
Whatever.
We did have dragons on the...
We picked enough dragons.
We picked enough dragons. We picked 3 of them, technically, and one honorable mention.
Enough.
So,
that's good. 30%.
That is our choices right there, guys. Like it or not, that's what we think. We want to know your opinion. Leave a comment, leave a chat, come to the Discord, join the council, join the Patreon, all that good stuff. We will see you in early access. Any closing thoughts, Numbskull?
Oh man, just get ready for Tarkir. We're gonna have fun, and I think this is at one point Jay and I were talking about we're gonna be like really churning out episodes. I think we're kind of getting into that. Obviously, you see we're 2 weeks in a row with an episode, which we haven't done that in a while.
No, we haven't.
This is going to be that.
Try to go for a 3 for. We're gonna.
It might be a 3 with the early access starting in the first week of April. So yeah, we're talking about really going balls to the wall here with content, and I was telling Jay, this is like, you know, Aether Drift didn't inspire me to stream very much, but Tarkir has called me. So I think we're both going to be streaming a good bit. We're going to be doing early access. We're going to be doing more podcast episodes. We didn't forget about your lore stuff too.
That's
for
coming.
The council.
Yeah, that's coming too.
We do owe you that, and we're going to figure that out soon here also. We just wanted to get this out because it was all the cards were actually revealed sooner than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, somehow we had our timing messed up, and we also finally got confirmation on early access. So our timing was kind of screwed. And so we said we want to get this right away. So we did it. It was kind of a jump.
But it was we were still able to do it where we had to be a little flexible, but we're also able to get this out the same time we did last week. So it was able to work out for us. And I think patrons, of course, you're going to see it a day early. So never hurts to be a patron. Check out consider subscribing to or joining the Patreon, becoming a patron, getting in the Discord, and getting early access to all these episodes that we're going to be dropping here in the next few months. That it's probably more than normal, but yeah,
absolutely.
We really thank you guys for coming with us on this journey. We hope that we did not drag on too long. Had to throw that in there again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll
I think it's great. One, and yeah, we're gonna call this meeting of the council to a close.
Oh,
I
said it now. He got it.
I said it now.
I've been JB. You were great. With me as always, Numbskull. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care, guys.
Bye bye.